Okay. EWGWHITE coming with the heat.
I stay fooling with my bot, my tunes will make your speakers hot. Dance floor, hopscotch, baby.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Welcome to the Grillcast.
And now to play us out. Yeah.
The Summer of Love edition, the White Boy Summer edition, the World War III edition of the Grillcast. I am your host, Micah. Joining me once again as our guest host this summer. You love him, you hate him, he's probably ran over your children. It's the Drunkman returning.
Shout out to my alcoholic acolytes. I hope you motherfuckers miss me. Comment below if you're not gay.
Yes, please comment below, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. So we got a big show for you guys today. It's going to be an amazing show. It's going to be an intellectual show. The Realcast is an intellectual show for intellectual people, and that brings us to the primary subject of tonight's episode and our guest for the night. John, please introduce yourself to our audience and give us a little bit of your background and tell us a little bit about why you wanted to come on and talk to us.
Sure. So, hi, my name is John Harvard. I am the founder of Harvard College. I am back from the dead, here to be even more anti-Semitic. I'm a PhD student at Harvard, and I wanted to come on because, like, a lot of people, mainly on our drama, but on other sites as well, have been talking incredibly out of their ass about the current situation at Harvard and how basic academic funding works. And so I wanted to give some canonical see you're a fucking retard evidence to these shills.
Okay. So essentially what you're saying is that you are a nerd who is seething at the non-nerds.
Yes, absolutely. This I have unironic autism that it makes me seethe that people on a gay cat forum are being wrong on the internet.
Well, let's not go around slandering and demeaning, one of the top sponsors of our program.
Well, Micah,
slander?
You know what this means. This means that it is time for, if you're a midwit and you're watching this right now, turn off your computer, ignore the chirping that you're hearing in the background.
We have a Harvard PhD researcher. Okay, I don't think some of you all are prepared for this. What's about to be laid down before you. But let's get into it. You were telling me a little bit before coming on the show that you take umbrage with the fact that the current Trump administration, fascist, is defunding various Harvard research programs, things of this nature. So tell me from your mouth, what sort of research is being done at Harvard to begin with?
So Harvard is not super well known for its research. I mean, the kind of big ones that come to mind are like MIT, some of the California schools, but Harvard is a juggernaut in health sciences. So we're connected with half of the hospitals here in Boston.
Penis enlargement.
Penis enlargement is the main area. The secondary area is trying to reattach limbs to children that the Drunkman has hit previously.
My bad, guys.
No, it keeps the lights on.
Well, apparently not, because you're being defunded.
Well, I think that's because of issues I'll talk about in a bit. But we also have what's the name of the thing? The Kempner Institute is a big AI and cognitive science collaboration that is attracts a lot of big names. We have quite a few material scientists, some roboticists, various smatterings of chemists. There's a material science lab that I worked with for a bit. But yeah, a whole litany of kind of
a whole slew of
Yeah,
nerd shit.
that's a
yeah,
wide
no,
net to cast.
absolutely. It's and that's not even to mention I should out myself as a a STEM student, but there's also like the thing that Harvard is famous for, which is the kind of philosophy department and English department and international relations and the business school and all of
Hmm.
that stuff. Which
So tell us,
yeah.
what exactly went down, right? What was the what's the focal point? What's the main issue that has caused this falling out between the government and where where you work? You did also mention before that you may be losing your job over this.
Um, so uh, as a PhD student, I have a contract with the university saying that I can be here for at least 5 years. So I don't think I will
Okay,
lose
well the
my job.
podcast is only about an hour long, so I
Yeah,
don't.
it's but like they can pressure me out in a few ways, and they have been doing that to a number of students here,
Mhm.
basically encouraging you to graduate early or all this kind of jazz. Um, so what has actually gone down is I think the Trump administration made a ton of promises to like bully Ivy League schools because he didn't get in, and whatever reason he has for being upset. Uh, it's kind of a really weird bit because it doesn't make a ton of sense. The thing that I think originally started out at being mad at us for was being anti-Semitic.
Yeah, that was my understanding of the situation is that you are anti-Semitic.
Yes,
I am
the
personally, but Harvard isn't. Uh,
Can you make the distinction?
no.
the Orange Man is on record a massive Judeophile, so this
Yeah.
checks out.
I more seriously, like Harvard is as literally any chud online like 2 years ago would tell you. Harvard is massively overrepresented in Jews,
Oh yeah.
so it's I don't know, kind of a bit of
So
a
what's the
meme.
problem?
Yeah, so the problem is apparently we're being mean to our Jews. We're not providing them the correct amount of matzah. In actuality, it was like a bunch of undergrads stood outside of the John Harvard statue and screamed their heads off because I don't know, they saw something online and they were upset. Like has literally always been the case on every college campus since the 80s. Um, but apparently they got a little too rowdy, and then because it's Harvard and Harvard is a big name, uh, we got like the doxing truck, which a lot of people have
The
forgotten about.
the what?
The doxing
The
truck. You didn't hear about the doxing truck?
They have a whole
what is
doxing
this?
truck now. That's fucking crazy.
They had a truck with two giant screens on it with the names and faces of students in like certain student activist groups, and they drove it around Harvard Square. And they posted all those names online and tried to get a bunch of like big investment firms,
What the
which happen
fuck?
to be run by Jews
It
for whatever reason,
it
to
behooves me to compare this to literally 1984, but I think I gotta. The 2 minutes of hate truck, fucking
no, it. I mean, it's weird because it's very clearly like
an intimidation
some.
tactic.
Well, it's some like
What it is it's unfair. Why don't I have a doxing truck? Why doesn't
I.
Drugman have a doxing truck? What?
Why
Can we
can't
get a
he
I should.
tax
drunk
credit on
dive the
it?
doxing truck?
Yeah, I
I
need a
want to.
tax credit on that, bro.
Yeah, drunk drive that shit into like
So
Lehman Hall.
I mean, let's get down to brass tacks here.
Yeah.
Is Harvard anti-American? And can you give us your biased opinion and then your unbiased opinion?
My biased opinion is that we are. Are we anti-American? I don't think so. I mean, so I will say that like for a long while, most researchers, when applying for fellowships or grants, have a paragraph somewhere on their computer that they copy and paste into every grant and every fellowship proposal, which
ChatGPT
basically,
now is the
yeah, I
norm.
imagine ChatGPT would have been the go-to thing of it had it not been retired, but it was basically like a DEI statement saying this will help people of color or women or LGBTQIA plus people to express themselves or do whatever. And so we basically would just copy paste that into various documents. And there definitely were people who were more militant about it and did really feel like these things needed to happen. But there was pretty much a silent understanding among most researchers that you just kind of have to put this in there, and then you can not talk about it again for the rest of the paper or the rest of the fellowship application, and no one would care.
Okay.
I also think it's like I don't know, being anti-American on private property, like by speaking outside, seems almost oxymoronic in the sense that, like, I don't know, it seems like the people who founded the US were arguing about the role of government, and I don't know. That's a.
I mean, that's true, but they were also racist, so we can't take anything that they said seriously.
That's true. That's true.
They were also sexist. I kind of miss those days, man. You know,
Oh,
where my
forgot
repeal
about
the
that.
19th motherfuckers at in the chat?
So how much money do you need? I mean, we might be able to float you guys. We have a Gumroad and stuff.
Shut the fuck
Yeah,
up, dude.
you have like a $7 billion.
I don't think we'll have to even really dig through our coffers for that. I think that's a done deal, right?
Oh,
right,
nice.
Micah?
We might need Well, let me hear you out first because I want to know what exactly would the Grillisha, if we were to extend out our hand graciously, to help you in your pursuits, what would we be getting out of it? What would the Harvard research team of radical centrists be able to deliver for the Grillisha?
We could give you a lot of empty beer bottles.
Empty.
Yeah, you're already losing me on this one. If this was Shark Tank, I would have already been. And for that reason, I'm out.
For that reason.
I mean, what researchers actually produce at like the end of the day is papers, right?
Okay.
We write little sheets of paper and submit them to journals and hope they get published. The value that they
are
provide
there ever pictures of boobies on these pieces of paper?
Like non-zero amounts. There was some
Okay.
weeaboo did like a study on the aerodynamics of like anime titties or something gay like that, and had like a whole model of them. It was the most like furthest from an actual female that you could get as a human being.
Just peak gooner.
Yeah, absolutely.
For real. All right, now tell me.
Okay. This is promising. Okay, they are. Goonology is being studied.
Please
Goon
tell
studies
me this
is a big area of
individual
research.
was immediately liquefied for his deeds.
Something was liquefied.
Yeah, lots of liquid was spilt at the time. Yeah, it was I don't know, some retard submitted it to a paper anonymously, and I think it was like a joke journal, and so I think they may have accepted it. The Journal of Immaterial Science, if memory serves.
Truly, the samurai has not died just yet.
No, absolutely not. He will fight on to the valiant end when his mom shuts off his internet.
Well, tell us more. I mean, I don't know how deep you can dive into what you were specifically involved with, but maybe you could throw one of your other friends under the bus and tell us what they're doing that's so important, that deserves our taxpayer dollars, and they're no longer going to be able to do that.
Sure. I have a friend that is working on like cancer research. So
okay, that's not real. Move on. Next one.
Okay. Cancer's not real. There's someone who works on cybersecurity research, and so like does cybersecurity policy.
What does that mean?
So what that means is he basically goes in front of these like 80-year-old senators and their 30-year-old aides, and like tries to explain them why like building a backdoor in every encryption algorithm is a bad idea, and then the 80-year-olds kind of doze off, as 80-year-olds tend to do, and the 30-year-olds take notes. That was my understanding of the field.
So you're telling me that it takes a Harvard researcher to figure out that an 80-year-old senator has had AIDS for 30 years because of a backdoor?
Glad I wasn't the only one thinking about that.
Yeah, no, it's entirely without protection. Also, probably fueled by a cocaine binge in Miami.
Mm.
It,
Mm-hmm.
it's
I'm not gonna lie, you're sort of losing me here. I don't know how the Drunkman personally feels. I feel like a lot of this stuff, can be covered by AI at this point.
Oh no, you know what? Speaking of which, that's another thing I'd ask about. So, what kind of AI research are you guys doing there? Is it the scary Terminator kind or the cool fuckable Cortana kind?
Why
um,
not both?
there actually is a lab on like flexible robotics, which I think is probably the closest you're gonna get. Uh, there is also the scary Terminator kind, plenty of the scary Terminator kind. A lot of the throw a ton of compute at it and see what it does kind as well. I don't know. There's like tons and tons of AI research that's going on as well. So
Hmm.
it's not incredibly uncommon. Like I
Hey
said,
man,
the
if the
temperature
dice roll
folks,
on AI is 50-50, it kills me or fucks me, then I think we've won. So,
that's the best odds I've had in years.
So what do you think? What do you foresee happening first? Harvard stop being anti-Semitic, or Trump giving a shit about higher education?
Um, so right to begin with, Harvard is not anti-Semitic, right? Like at a
Allegedly,
lot of these protests, the people who were going up were like self-hating Jews a lot of the
allegedly.
time. I mean, I like saw it, but sure, I allege it. I'm the
Wait, how
one
did
who
you know they were
alleges
self-hating?
because they introduce themselves as I'm a Jewish student here.
Okay, I see.
I
I
mean,
see.
unless you don't believe,
They are
sure,
going to Harvard, and therefore they must be self-hating. I understand.
yeah, there's a certain amount of self-hatred you have to come here. But I think if I had to put like money on it, I'd say the way this plays out is uh, our current president, like the college president, I should say, does
Hmm.
enough to like appease the administration and just to so they could tweet like we beat Harvard out, and then uh, they'll like cower and say like, oh yeah, you guys sure beat us. Please give us back our $1 billion of funding, and then they'll be like, okay, and that'll be at the end of the day.
okay,
Um,
so in layman's terms, nothing ever happens. Chud's rising up.
nothing. So unfortunately, there is shit that is happening. Like the I don't think it's going to be a long term thing, but like it's enough to really fuck with a lot of labs. So, I mean,
Hmm.
especially labs in like medical fields where you actually have like cultures that are alive with bacteria in them, and you can't like just shut down all the equipment for a week and have them still be alive. You even like a short while, if they receive a stop work order, they have to like start from scratch once their work restarts. Uh, Similarly, a lot of students like need to be paid, and so if they're not going to get paid, like we can go elsewhere. We're relatively highly trained researchers in valuable fields, unless you're like a humanities major, then you're stuck here anyway. But especially in the STEM field, you have a lot of these people that can jump ship. So it and a lot of them have. A lot of them have been straight up fired. A lot have been leaving of their own accord or kind of pressured out. And so it's a question of like how long this back and forth is going to go on before they
Hmm.
just like make up and kiss and have gay sex. I
Well,
don't
here's
know.
another thing: is how many of these Harvard research staff have been affected by the mass deportations that are being carried out?
Um, Not many. I don't think a lot of Harvard staff are illegal immigrants, if only for the
They're
reason
not.
that uh, No. You need
Oh.
like a PhD to be a Harvard staff, and I'm gonna check.
Well, yeah,
I'm gonna guess they like.
that's like most of the people that are crossing the border.
It depends on well, I mean, it's usually going to be people from the poo poo country India, because their litmus for like achieving PhDs is just be a highborn essentially.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy once you learn how to distinguish between the like different words in their language. Once you ask them like, "Hey, what's your caste?" You hear one answer pretty much all the time.
Oh
It's
yeah.
but yeah. I
Were
mean,
you about
like,
to do a racist impersonation?
You have
uh,
just asked me what my caste is, sir. You do not know about such things.
uh, I was not going to, but I was hoping that someone else would step up to bat.
I'm always fucking happy to. Please excuse my smell, sir. It has been a long day of studying.
I I will not lie. I have a lot of like good friends that are either from India or like Southeast Asia, but I on several occasions have like gone to class and then had an Indian guy like walk by me, and I just fucking get a wave of it. It's like really
It's
unique.
always mixed with cologne.
The curry
Yeah,
penetrates
It's
the cell wall
always.
of every single cell in their body. The membrane is just
yeah.
curry filled.
And these are like the landed gentry of their country, right? So this is not like a we don't have access to toilets thing, or like we don't have
Yeah.
access to showers. This
No.
is like a we choose. This is the way Vishnu or whatever made me. So I'm going to smell like the inside of a sandal.
Street shitting to own the whiteoids.
Well, I think you made a lot of really cogent points here. I think you've made a strong argument. Would you like to give any final thoughts or words or insults to any of the people that have been dunking on you for your unfortunate circumstances, being a persecuted class at as a researcher at Harvard?
Um, I'd like to the the kind of best part about a lot of this is um I don't know. I To be honest, this all does like personally affect me in that it has made getting funding for my research really difficult for obvious reasons. But
Mhm.
it's also kind of just funny from like a larger perspective, because this is 100% Trump like just being a catty gay guy and being
Mhm.
upset at someone for just not following his every beck and call.
Yeah.
Like it logistically, it makes no sense. Economically, it makes no sense. Legally, they have like no
You
leg to stand on. It's purely like out of
but you
spite.
understand that is like Chad activity.
No, absolutely. That's why I kind of am in awe. I realize I this is the absolute like 4 IQ Chad move, where you just somewhat you don't like someone, so you instinctively lash out at them in a way that is entirely futile and useless. But it is it's a I aim to be more like that as a human being. I want to think
So
less, attack others more
you're
blindly.
not rattled by this at all.
I am rattled by this in like a unironic way, but
Are
I don't
you
like thinking about it.
okay?
I don't like thinking about the fact that my lab may run out of money this year, or that I may have to leave early,
Or
or
that
that
your
kind of
life is
thing. So
ruined?
it's funnier to think about it in terms of funny orange man, instead of my career is over.
You just gotta adopt the Chud mindset
He's
that
just being
nothing
a
ever
silly little. He's
happens
just
and
being a
nothing
silly
will
little guy.
happen.
He's
Yeah,
just.
he's being a
He's,
silly little guy. The stop work orders aren't really coming in. It's JD Vance has his lollipop and is pressing
His little
funny
propeller
spinning
buttons.
hat.
propeller hat.
It's
Yeah.
yeah, it's this is not the end of modern universities.
Have you considered saying Sawi?
I have
Woody please with sugar
I've
on top.
I've been trying to wear bulkier suits to the office as well, just so my
Yeah.
nipples aren't protruding.
Yeah.
Uh,
Very disrespectful.
I know it was incredibly disrespectful. Um, yeah, just trying to like laugh away the few months I have left before I have to get a real job.
I see.
Hey, I have one of those. It sucks.
I know, right? That's why you go to grad school. You avoid the realities of the real world. You can pretend to be a college student for like another 7 years. It's great.
How unfortunate.
I know, right?
I do want to move along. I appreciate your insights, John, Mr. John Harvard,
Ah,
um,
thank you for
researcher
having
at
me.
Harvard.
Peace
I
be
do.
upon him.
Peace be upon him. I do want to. We've had some developments this week. Some things have happened. Um,
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Say it ain't so.
I
Nothing ever happens, Micah.
I regret to inform you that things have taken place
Fuck.
in time, and we're gonna talk a little bit about this whole situation happening in Israel with the Israeli Iran soon to be full blown conflict. So we
Surely,
have some
any day now.
footage from on the ground that I want us to watch together, and I will be doing a advisory, a viewer discretion advisory. This is harrowing stuff that you're about to witness. So if you could all just jump into
Yeah.
Discord.
Oy vey.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I got the notion of the bit.
so
You
yeah,
better
it's
throw that in post, bro. I did not waste 30 seconds of editing time on that.
truly harrowing footage. You can clearly hear the screams of Israeli civilians. One, in fact, calling out to their mother
Get the
to
camera.
document the event so people 100 years from now believe that it happened. And it's very sad that Iran has decided to do this for literally no reason whatsoever, no discernible reason.
No, it's a tragedy in a lot of ways.
Um, so since we have a actual Harvard researcher, okay, big brain opinion here, I want to ask you, what advice would you give to Iran in this situation, and what advice would you give to Israel in this situation?
Um, so for Iran, the whole shtick is they have like these big underground nuclear facilities, and so Israel is trying to get to that. I feel like you guys are forgetting about what the Jews did in New York City. They like have tunnels pretty locked down. They probably can
Yes,
get in
yes,
there.
we have
So
we have covered the we have covered the ingenuity of the Jewish tunneling systems before.
I my thought would be like a BioShock Infinite-esque cloud scenario where you just like have nukes from Colombia or whatever.
Mhm.
Uh,
So what you're saying is you don't think that they should make peace and be friends.
um, I think making peas and being friends is nice. It seems like they've got their mind made up about what they're gonna do.
Mhm.
So I guess from that perspective, obviously they're gonna get like their shit pushed in because they they're like fighting a European and U.S. backed military force against like I don't know whatever
Well, not yet, not
aggressive kinds
yet.
of
We
sheep they
don't.
have.
Wait, wait, hey, wait. Hold on a second. We don't
Who is
know.
we?
We don't know that we're gonna be behind them.
Hey man, I'm gonna tell you what
Oh,
right now. You don't need to start getting scared unless 9/11/2 happens, which I'm sure they're cooking something up, but
oh,
This
I mean
time
like
it's gonna be three towers.
right?
economically, but yeah, sure. Oh, like actual boots on the ground. No, I don't think the U.S. is gonna do that, dude.
It would be a hard
Uh,
sell. I think there would be like a total Zoomer uprising. Honestly, at that point, they're already
yeah,
agitating.
Total. I don't feel like it.
Yeah,
Uprising.
like what do you mean? I have to stop gooning to fucking VTubers? Nah, like I will kill you, Unk. That's the timing that generation's on. So
yeah.
How will I make this work around my streaming schedule?
right, fuck man,
I
what the
I
fuck? I can't even watch Coco Melon on my iPad, motherfucker. I ain't going to war.
they need to have access to internet so they can chat with their therapist in sufficiently suitable conditions. They need to have a sufficient amount of uh, Xbox controllers for them to not know how to use. It's important that they have these things.
A little bit of Troon shine, maybe.
Absolutely. I'm gonna guess if this conflict goes hot and someone launches a nuke, enough plastic will be burnt that like it will release the estrogen that you need. So maybe that will take care of itself.
Trans Earth. We're talking about a total apocalyptic scenario. Total
excuse me,
Troon.
excuse me. Trans hearth.
Oh, there's.
Wow.
And look, I don't want anyone to get the idea, okay, that I'm trying to get people to pick sides, okay? I want to remind you all that we don't need to do that here,
We're
okay?
radically in the center.
By donating to the Grillcast Gumroad, you will ensure that both Israel and Iran have a voice, okay? They'll both be represented in their best light because we understand there's valid reasons to support both. There's valid, there's valid arguments on both sides, but especially Israel's.
Yes.
Israel has uh, I think a 5 or 6 kiloton valid argument.
I just need the shekels, man.
that is you've heard that here, that this has been scientifically measured.
Absolutely, yeah.
Their argument, the size of their argument.
The size of their argument, the deployment mechanisms of their argument, the financial backing of their argument has been well documented.
It's true. It's true.
They have a rhetorician called the Samson Plan. If you're interested in learning more about the rhetoric of the Israeli operators.
I don't know if I'm allowed to read that, man. I'm just
Is the Samson option? Is the Samson option just a guy named Samson in Israel with a really big cock?
That would be hard to find, but
well, you know the biblical story of Samson, obviously, Micah. You familiar with
obviously,
that?
as a radical centrist, familiar with all world religions.
Yes.
No, I am familiar.
But I mean, he shouldn't have let that hoe cut his hair. That's all I'm gonna say. I know it might be a controversial take, but
no.
if you're gonna kill 1,000 Philistines with the jawbone of an ass just for a hoe to persuade you, that I don't know, man. Couldn't be me. I wouldn't have fumbled.
Yeah.
I actually had a friend. Send me a message. I was asking him, what his thoughts were, and he said, this isn't very libertarian foreign policy. He is a libertarian, unfortunately. But he said, this isn't a very libertarian foreign policy, but under my framework, the CIA should probably have assassinated Netanyahu.
Just that, man. That is absolutely like the most tame op that one person could run.
And I was like, yeah, well, the CIA does have a tendency of going after the people who directly oversee their activities.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah,
but that's neither here nor there.
I'm afraid your friend, now that you've put that out on the internet, may have unfortunately committed suicide.
By shooting himself 10
I'm
times
preemptively sorry for your loss.
I'm not.
He was a libertarian, so the kids in his basement will be overjoyed. Although, wait, no, you got the fucking Zog out there anyway, so it's just going to be like a transfer of power kind of situation.
Your friend is currently being held in a shitty, piss-soaked cell in Tel Aviv and having his foreskin chewed off. I'm sorry to tell you. It's never been more over.
No, I think we are going to have a lot of great content to look forward to from all this. I think we should look on the bright side of things. Okay, yes, Trump may, lie down and roll over and bend backwards and take it up the ass and do all manner of other things that sell us out to Netanyahu. But on the bright side, it'll be entertaining. And I think we should take solace in that.
I am personally rather excited for a potential war because all the academics don't have to go anywhere. We just get more funding.
That's
to
true. It's
build
never the
bombs and
nerds.
shit. So we get to stay behind. All of the women are still here,
it's
right?
It is the rare nerd W.
Truly, the era of the midwit is over. It is now the time of the intellectual.
I'd say it's time of the autist.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, no, it's
Well, that's a
It's a
real
slightly eyes too far apart boy summer.
that's a that's kind of a thing we haven't made any type of contingency for because we haven't really been in a major world conflict in the last, not a real one anyways, in the last 20 to 30 years. Is one day we're gonna get into something and the army's gonna realize, like, oh my god, 80% of the troops have autism. And it's
I
just I feel like there's gonna be a restructuring around that, just to be able to deal with it.
If the troops had autism, I feel like that would only be a good thing,
It
right? Like,
is. It makes you less psyopable. They've done some studies on it. It shows that you're less susceptible to things like advertisements and stuff like that.
Yeah, but that's exactly what the government wants them to be.
yeah, like that's not the
That's what
valuable
I'm
part. I
saying.
mean, so
What, not being
Autism
manipulatable?
breeds sedition.
yeah, consider the following: a Hearts of Iron, right? In
Hmm.
general, I feel like given the amount of autism in that game, the Hearts of Iron autists are going to like want to color the map with all the red that they can. Um, I, I don't know if they'd be as good as shock troops though, because they're like if there was a bright light or something, they'd start spurging out. Um, loud noises, similarly, not great for them.
Flashbang, flashbang.
Flailing your arms generally attracts attention. Uh, I don't know what the military policy is on pissing and shitting yourself, but I imagine it's not much different from what autists do now, so they're probably fine in that regard.
Hmm. Hmm. You think there's an official military policy on gooning?
I think the official military policy is like, yes, you can goon.
Yeah, do as the
Yeah.
Romans
No,
do, when in Rome.
I know, like, I had family members, in the military, and they used to talk about how, like, yeah, there were rations that were like, porno mags or whatever. But I feel like that's a totally different realm than gooning. I mean, that's like at a different level of intensity.
Yeah, I haven't had any military family members because my family's not retarded, but the like actual gooning that happens in the military, I'm gonna have to guess is like mainly going to be inflicted on the local
I feel like
population.
Harvard should do a research study on this.
Oh, I'm sure they have. It probably got defunded. They like probably there are a few 100,000 Vietnamese children that are the result of
I feel
the
like if Trump knew
previous
that his
generation's
his
gooning.
army was just full of a bunch of autistic gooners, he would pay some nerds to figure out how to put a stop to that.
He'd finally find a cure for autism.
No, he'd give you money. He'd give Harvard money.
I know. The problem is it's working against their own self interest. I guess autists aren't smart enough to realize their own self interest, so they're probably fine actually.
I do kind of hate. I know we're joking and like, oh, we're gonna die for Israel. We're gonna die, but realistically, like, what's just stopping everybody from just being like, no?
The sentiment I've seen like everywhere, especially in my social circles, is people are like, if a draft sponsor comes up to my door, they're getting fucking smoked. Which I mean,
Yeah,
hey, fair enough,
Well, I'll have
man.
to disavow that statement unequivocally.
yeah. Using a firearm would be too messy. The main concern in trying to do like another draft would be the like ways out of the draft, right? They have all the medical conditions. Like, do you know
Hmm.
the amount of medical conditions people currently claim they have? Like, you'd be, I don't know, the number of people who like have myopic, like are
we could all
myopic,
just
or
give ourselves diabetes.
I
that's
mean, I've been refused enlistment voluntarily on two separate occasions for diagnosis that I had overturned.
Hmm.
Yeah, they
wow.
had me for ADHD and anxiety. I got a second diagnosis as I was older for a high functioning autism spectrum disorder. And they didn't. So I'm telling you right now, if a draft sponsor came up to my door and said, "Hey, you're going in the military," I'd be like, "No, fuck you. You had your chance two times already."
Damn.
Um,
You'd
yeah, and I'm
say
not doing it for
you'd
Israel.
open the door and you'd go, Would you fuck me? I'd fuck me.
I'd fuck me so hard right now.
Okay, but the military is already mainly autists, so like the percentage of autists that become trains are like high enough that you probably
Way
are
too
going to
high.
run into that guy.
Well, get excited, everybody. This is all the stuff that you have to look forward
It's
to.
been a real bad month for Chuds, tell you that much.
It has
Should be
been a
happening.
very terrible month for the Chuds. We are getting the war with Israel.
For Israel.
Apparently, there's some stuff about the deportations not happening or something that I don't frankly care about.
Fell for it again award. Ding 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 ding.
Yeah,
ding.
that whole thing on Twitter. God,
Yeah, that was a gem.
it's all so tiring. But that's going to wrap it up for this this episode of the Grillcast. I do have some very, very exciting news to share with you all, and by share with you all, I mean withhold the information until the time at which it becomes a thing. But just know that there's a very, very important, substantial episode coming out in the next week that's literally going to fulfill all of your desires, everything you've ever hoped and wished for from the show. We are going to deliver it to you next week. I hope you are very excited. John, if you have any last words you want to share, if you want to, thank us graciously for allowing you on the podcast, you can do that now. If you want to plug anything, if you want to say hi to your mom, you can do that. But I'll give you the floor.
Yeah, given that this is a radical centrist podcast, I imagine there's a lot of Harvard listeners. Although maybe it's more a Stanford thing that I'd understand, but I at least expect a few people to come up to me and ask why I said several slurs on a random podcast for no reason. It's mainly because I have a deep-seated need for attention, as all researchers do. I desperately need affirmation by others, and so being able to come wave my big academic dick around is something I just can't ignore. So thank you very much for indulging my increasingly fervent addiction.
Well said.
Hell yeah.
Well said.
And
Well,
one more little statement from me to all of the people that missed me during my absence. I'm gonna try to be here as often as I can until the God Emperor Orion himself returns. So, yeah, much love for all the fans that have been waiting on my return. It's been a
and with
long
that,
wait.
thank you all very much for tuning in. Yeah, thanks so much.
Man, just got that first pick in the 2020 draft. Y'all better come see my first game. Yo, ay, pulling up to Iran, chopper in my fucking hand, bomb their ass just like Japan, tilted towers where we land, Fortnite dance on Iranian bodies, they do not have any thoughties, all the girls dress like Palpatine, R6 players are on my team, Iran is kinda gay but I think I wanna move there, they throw gay people off the roof, their age of consent is like 14 there, holy shit now I really wanna go there, ay, they speak enchantment table.